Alex Jones very well might have InfoWars taken down from him right now, tonight or tomorrow morning. I just watched what might be his last show on air. He cried. Like, actually cried. Like, you can't fake that stuff. Like, you could see that was for real. You can think what you want of him. The whole Sandy Hook thing. Okay? He made a mistake there, obviously, for sure. And the man has apologized for it extensively. And he's paying a huge price for it. He is. But understand, he has been right about things. He has been on point about things a lot of times in his life. He foretold 9/11 2 months before it happened. Okay, he did. And understand that the powers that be that are very seriously undermining the stability of this country want to shut guys like him down for a reason. Because he attempts, at least, to speak the truth to power. And that's what he does. And he pours his heart into it. Is he always right? No. Is he right quite a bit? Yes. Is he a God-fearing man? I believe so. He seems to be. We definitely need to be God-fearing people. Seemingly, especially at this time, when everything seems to be just going south. It's pretty obvious that the state of affairs in the country is worse than it's really ever been. And we could definitely use the armor of God on us and have him in our lives as we go through this very trying time. Understand something about Trump, because their new push is to call him, to make it a point, to refer to him as a convicted felon. George Soros' son, new wonder boy of the left wing, stated that it's really the thing to say, to use those words. You know who else would have been called convicted felons once upon a time? You know who? The founding fathers of this country. You think England didn't have them pegged down as basically the equivalent of what a convicted felon is today? That's how England looked at them. And for all this talk about protecting democracy that the Democrats like to spew out of their mouths, it's kind of ironic, being that they're the ones that are actively trying to pursue and put in jail their political opponent, Donald Trump. Something that's never happened in the history of the United States. And now, InfoWars from Alex Jones might be shut down. Like, they tried to get them to shut their doors, to shut down, and put a padlock on. And he said, where's the court order? And they didn't have one. Now he's exposing a lot of things that they've been putting him through. Evidently, they've been trying to set him up multiple times. And he's fighting back. He's speaking against it, as he should. He brought something up that I've been thinking about myself a little bit recently, about what very well could be happening and that you need to watch out for. Understand the narrative is being pushed that right-wing conservative Republicans, in some cases Christian conservatives, are the domestic terrorists or whatever. That's a narrative they're trying to push. Just understand that that's what it is, a narrative. And that in almost every single case, it's absolutely untrue. But they're going to try to paint us with that broad brush. So watch out for things like false flags. You know how they do things like this in other countries? If they want to change things, create like coups or whatever, they plant false flags a lot. They create something that's not actually accurate. It's not actually happening or going on. But they make it seem to be so. And they'll implant or embed agent provocateurs into said events or what have you, to egg it on, to push it. And that's what we need to watch out for, because there's definitely people, smart people, that think that something like that's going to be attempted, that a false flag type thing is going to happen, set up by, you could say, rogue parts of the government, rogue parts of intelligence in the US, that'll stage these things in an attempt to paint a picture of Republicans as being violent extremists, when it's not the case. Remember this, if ever you see anything like this happen, I heard General Flynn speak to this, and he was an intelligence guy long ago. He said that you never believe the first report that comes in. Try to remember that. So when these types of things happen, hopefully they won't, but if they do, don't buy it. Just be like, that's probably bull. Don't go doing anything crazy. You want to do anything? Use your voices and speak up peacefully against this madness. But don't engage in it. There's also talk that if they can find a way to just cancel the elections in November, they might just do it. People might hear that and think that's crazy, that's insane, that'll never happen. Why do you think that? You think we couldn't slip into like such a chaotic situation that could never happen? Don't get sucked into false flags, because they do utilize things like that. And we would be wise to recognize that is a tactic. There's a very real push right now in this country to turn this country into a communist, Marxist country. There's a very real push for it. You need to see the writing on the wall. We need to stand up with our voices against it and speak the truth and speak about these things that are happening. Never in the history of America has anything like this ever happened regarding what happened to Donald Trump the other day. This creates division, and it creates a precedent that is very, very hard to overcome. They are playing with fire when they do this type of thing. It's very foolish. And we need God-fearing, good people to stand up and speak their minds against this madness.